Well, hello everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Everything going to suit you wherever you're at?
Yep.
I guess
Good on
we
my
were
end.
we were talking backstage a little bit. All the folks in the chat. I guess the worry for some of us is the weather that's coming up. We've been going like gangbusters here up in the 80s. Bees are flying, bringing in nectar, pollen. Everything's blooming, and supposed to be in the down around 30 tonight, and we might hit the 20s a couple of days next week. So not not really what I was looking for. How about up in your neck of the woods, Bill?
Yeah, it's been cold the past couple days. We had rain and snow today, so it's cold right now. So we've had over an inch and a half of rain for the month so far. So we need it. Need it bad.
Yeah, and we've probably had a couple inches of rain the past 3 weeks. Um, nice and slow rain. Not the creek not even getting up much, which that's a good thing going in the ground.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It's going in the ground.
Yeah, I mean a lot of folks. I mean we're still in a drought. I forgot what stage it is. It's not the worst stage, and everybody goes in their backyard and it's soggy. But man, if you stick a shovel in the ground, you get below 4 or 5 inches, and it's dust. It's dirt. It's hard as a rock.
Yep.
So yeah, it's
We're
soggy
still
on top, but
we're still in what they consider a moderate drought here.
Yep. Yeah, too bad the tree roots, they ain't on top. They're down in the ground.
Yeah.
How about you, Joey? How's the weather been out your way? Did you get
Well,
any of
we've
the big
been
storms?
for about a week or two. We'd actually been under a burn ban. Uh, that happens this time every year.
Yeah.
When that little weather come over yesterday, it kind of drenched everything. We actually had a pretty good rain a couple of days prior to that lifted the burn ban, and then last night wet everything good. It was a good soaking rain. But there was some people, a little town next to me, lost some trees. I went riding through there this morning, and they had some big oak trees laying on the ground, on houses and everything.
Wow.
But we'd been, as far as the bees, you'd mentioned the nectar and pollen. We've had that for a couple, 3 weeks now. Very little nectar, but enough to kind of keep them content, and plenty of pollen. But I don't know what's happened, but you can't, the last couple of splits I tried to make, you can't hardly pull a frame out without bees knocking you down, going after it. You got to stick it in a box. It got tough.
Huh. Sounds like what flow was there might have went away a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to Mike, and him and his buddy Kenny, he talks about a lot. Beekeeper that started the same time as him. They got to noticing that they were able to work in his area from about 1 o'clock to 2 or 3 o'clock, somewhere in there, without a lot of trouble.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
We get that every year. We get a little lull. We get the pick up, start brooding up, and then that nectar just plunge for about a week or two.
Right. That makes it a challenge to hit everything just right.
Yeah.
Most of the time, once our little early flow fires up, it stays pretty steady. This cold weather coming up next week could really put the brakes on that. Thankfully, the big flow is the tulip poplars. They're not close to blooming yet, so if we have a little cold snap, it ain't going to hurt them. But it'll still hurt. But ain't nothing we can do about it. But yeah, I looked at the radar last night. Man, that was some wicked looking storms coming through parts of Louisiana, Alabama, northern Georgia.
It went right right even. My wife was staying with my granddaughter in Baton Rouge, and it just kind of rode right up. That edge was right up by them and by me. They said, "Did we come home?" I said, "You still gonna be in it. Even come home, you're gonna be driving in it." So they were.
Yeah, sometimes them storms, you're going to drive with them, so they'll stay with you the whole trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
So I kind of titled the tonight's chat, "Are you ready?" And I think I capitalized you, YOU. Not necessarily your bees, but the beekeeper. We fixing to get busy. So we've talked about during the winter what you got to do during the winter to get ready for what we're about to get into. A big one is equipment. Have you got all the equipment you think you're going to need plus a little bit? Do you have a plan? Do you have the equipment to match your plan? Do you have a backup plan when plan A don't work, or B or C? And one of the big ones, maybe not so much this time of the year, is motivation for the beekeeper. Are you ready for what you're about to get into? I think most of us are. After the winter, we're chomping at the bit, wanting to get in the hives. The motivation come about August, September. Might not be exactly what we got right now, but so I don't know that motivation is a problem. But what do you think, Bill? Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get. Let me put it that way. We keep a lot of equipment stored over the winter. I am going to have to buy some boxes this year. I'm kind of changing up the way I do a couple of things. So yeah, I'll be buying some new boxes and getting them ready to go, but it's not going to be right away. So yeah, we're pretty much ready for the flow. We've got everything right now sitting in the freezer, walk-in freezer, and it's ready to be pulled out and scraped down and cleaned up. So,
well, I guess when it comes to equipment, you've kind of got a leg up on most of us. You're in pretty tight with this guy that's probably got a whole lot of equipment.
Yeah, but I still have to pay for it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You probably get
I get a very deep discount.
Yeah. You know the guy.
Yeah.
The more boxes Bill uses, the less he can sell, though.
I don't know about that now. That doesn't slow down any.
I guess the more he uses, the more he can buy and maybe get a bigger discount from his supplier. There you go.
I do get a pretty good discount from him.
Okay. How about you, Joe? Are you ready?
Well, I'd like to say I am. I think I'm going to start with somewhere around Plan B and aim toward A.
Plan A.
I'm going to aim toward A.
Yeah. It based on what this weather does next week, that might put me down about C, but we'll see. We don't know till we get there.
Yeah, my plan A went out the window about the middle of January.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to buy a whole lot of new equipment. I bought a little bit this year. I know I'm going to need some more frames, but I've got a little bit stacked up. But I'm hoping I can get rid of some bees. I won't have to start putting boxes on top of some of these I got over here.
Yeah. Good luck with that. If swarm season hits us just right, man, bees ain't a problem if all the stars line up. Having enough bees isn't a problem. How you doing, JW?
Never had so much fun. Life's just great. I thought you need some help. You got all these old guys on here tonight. I thought you need some young guys in here to help.
But look at that. We all look alike. Everybody's gray and got a little beard and a mustache. What's up with that? My wife talks about that.
Ain't none of y'all got this though.
Yeah, no, we got very.
I don't know, Joey. I'm catching up with you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm working on it too, Joe.
Well, JW, we were talking about, are you ready for spring?
I am. I finished my spring treatment today, fellas. So I'm ready to go. Get my brood break in and we get this cold spell through if I don't choke myself to death here.
Sound like me trying to talk.
Get this cold spell through. I'm ready to hit it. So I got all my formic finished up today. I've been through every hive I got. I mean, I didn't go through the hives, but I've treated every hive I got with formic.
Right. Did you get any of that bad weather last night, or was you north of it?
Oh, north of me.
North of you,
north
okay.
of me. Yeah.
Okay.
We had some heavy winds. I thought I might have a hive stand or two blowed over, but I didn't have. So I was a little concerned about that, but it blowed. I mean, blowed hard. A lot of limbs down, stuff. Straight lines, though. But you get most of that big blow was 150 miles north of me, probably.
Okay. Yeah, we had a pretty good breeze blow through this afternoon. It was actually after the storm passed through. We had some thunder and lightning early this morning, but then the sky turned blue, not a cloud in the sky, and the wind came through, but nothing terrible. So we ain't got no complaints.
Yeah. It rained here about all day yesterday. We got almost 2 inches of rain again. That makes almost 7 inches. We've had just about, so
that's a lot of water.
Last week, it's muddy, wet.
Do you have a lot of trouble with flooding around your place? Are you fairly flat, or you got a bunch of springs and streams for it to run into? Or
well, the rivers are all out. I mean, they're flooded.
Oh, okay.
Floodwaters. Excuse me, I'm about halfway. I'm between the three major rivers, actually, the Ohio, Mississippi, and the Big Wabash. They're all large, floodplains. So we've got lots of water around us.
Okay. Yeah, we're kind of on a hill here. When it rains a lot, it all just runs towards the creek. So not a lot of flat places for it to gather. But yeah, the creek gets up and then the rivers get up, of course. So
yep.
But we kind of built between a hill and the creek, so had to do a lot of water management to make sure the water goes around us. But it's worked out okay. I want to thank everybody that's over in the chat. I see y'all having a lively discussion over there. I'm trying to thank everybody as they come in. A good cast of characters over there, and we got some new names. Appreciate y'all coming in. If you got any questions for this illustrious group I have assembled over there, no, other way. It's backwards. You got to remember on here, it's backwards. And over there, yeah. We'll be glad to try to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, Dean, I call it the Kent Williams special. I use the one pad treatment in the spring. That's my normal spring treatment with the formic. If that's what you're asking. I treat them with the one pad of formic, and then 25 days I give them the OAV pretty strong. So that's my spring, my treatment.
DC's liking his honey money. That definitely makes the hobby a little less painful. I know before beekeeping, Michelle, my wife, can attest to it. Most of my hobbies were kind of just money pits, messing with old cars and stereos and yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of being in the red. I mean, being in the black on any of that. But with honey, you play your cards right, it can definitely pay for itself.
Yep.
Well, so I think
JW, you're supposed to pinch your legs off them stink bugs before you eat them. That way they don't get hung up going down.
maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. I think I'm allergic to this little dog here. You know,
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I need something. I may have to mute out here and get something in me. Give me a shot of that good bourbon honey.
You think that'll clean your whistle?
I doubt it. I don't. Well, I probably won't find out. That's for sure. I had a little trouble getting on. I couldn't get to pick up on your link. And I just waited till you finally posted it, but I tried
Okay.
For 30 minutes earlier to post it on the link. They wouldn't pick me up, so it's probably on my end, ignorance.
Maybe I wasn't in the studio that early or something, but it definitely worked a lot better than the link that I used last week, which didn't work at all.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was a great move on my part. Let's put
Yeah.
a link so people can go where they're at, go to where they are. So got that figured out though. Yeah, last week the first live, that was I must say that was I don't know if stressful is the right word, but I learned a lot. So that's a good thing.
There's Lee.
Yep. Lee and Grayson.
Miss Melanie.
Yep. Got the whole family together here just about.
Yeah.
So Clay said he had some snow up his way today, and Bill said he had some snow. I chatted with Ricky a little bit, and Ricky sent me a picture. He had snow in North Carolina up in the mountains. Time-wise, Ricky's not, but I guess he's probably an hour from me, but he's about 3,500 foot higher, or 3,000 foot anyway.
Wow.
So that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, there's Fred. Fred Dunn. How's it going, Fred? I just got through watching Fred's latest video on his jumping spider. Moving his jumping spider from a small house to a bigger house.
So I'm headed down your way tomorrow.
Janice the Jumper. So you're heading down to, I think you said Walnut Cove?
Yep.
Looking at is your fabricator in Walnut Cove? Is that where your builder is?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's where the I'll say that the importer is at.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of a small community, a small town. No, I don't know how small. It's bigger than Yadkinville where I live, but kind of northeast of Winston.
Yeah. No DC. That's why I'm going to North Carolina tomorrow.
DC's wanting to spend some honey money.
Yeah. He's bought some stuff for me already. I got to give him that. He's doing it right while he's doing it.
I had to put a gallon of sugar syrup on a hive today. I had two here, my two backyard beehives. first one I checked was full of bees, full of pollen, full of honey, full of brood. And I found the queen and I pulled her out. I got to borrow her for an observation hive for a few days at the classroom at school. And I guess you can say I split her. But
Yeah.
the next one, that's always the busier colony there. I always got more bees working. When I went through it, I had like 2 frames of brood and hardly any food in there other than a little pollen. I think what happened, I think she laid that whole box up more than they needed to lay, and they eat all their food up because that box has been heavy. That happens around here a little bit. So I put a gallon on today, and I'm going to watch it. If they need it, I'm going to put another gallon.
Yeah. Yeah, these places where it's going to get chilly, folks need to make sure they got food in there, especially, in areas where it's been warm and the bees have been brooding up. You got a lot of population. They're going to be stuck indoors for a couple of days. Ain't going to be nothing left in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You better go make a grocery run.
Yep.
Before the cold temps get here. Thankfully we have some decently warm days up in the 60s before the bottom drops out. If anybody does need to do anything, it's plenty warm to do it. So Joshua there's got a question. What's the soonest that you've caught swarms in your area? What do you think, Joey?
Well, I have caught them some years by now already, but I've just seen scout bees working some of them right now. But on average, I'm going to say middle March for me.
April, first week of April for me, but I don't trap them anymore.
But just south of me, some of those guys start catching in February.
Wow. How about you, Bill?
Usually
end of April, first week of May.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in between, which makes sense location wise. Probably earliest I catch any is mid-April, late April. You got to have drones for a while, and then the hive has to build up, and then figure out it's getting too big, and then here we go. So I did see some, even though it only got up in the, it finally got into the 50s today. I actually saw some bees around a couple of traps, but I haven't seen any walking drones yet in my hives. A lot of drone brood, but I haven't seen a drone in any of my hives or any of the ones that I help with. Just brood. Are y'all seeing drones yet? Are you seeing drones, Joey?
Yeah.
I've got drone brood, but no walking drones.
Yeah. That's the same thing I've got. Thanks for that super chat there, Kevin. I really appreciate that.
I had a video I was going to share with you if I find it.
Oh, no, don't make it complicated for me, Joey.
That ain't going to be complicated. If I find it.
Grayson there said he's got some drones.
I forgot where I put it. I'll look for it later to show it to you.
Grayson had a hive swarm already and had to split one Tuesday. But Grayson's rolling. He's been watching his own videos and figuring out how to do all this.
Yeah.
That's funny. Clay's saying he's seeing some drones and he's north of me.
Yeah, and he's south of me.
Yeah.
But he's kind of southeast of me.
Okay.
He's in his own little weather pattern down there. He'll be days that I'm cold up here or getting rain. He's not getting anything, and it's warm down there.
You see that video, Keith?
There we go.
There you go. And they're checking right hard there, Joey.
That was last week sometime. They ain't been back. I guess they found a better tree.
Yeah, or they found a better box they like.
Yeah. But they was cleaning it out.
Yeah, I like the looks of that.
They were thinking hard about it if they were cleaning it out.
Yeah, the float is bobbing. That's what I tell folks when you're fishing for bees. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could show videos like that on the free version, but I guess you can.
Now we know.
Now we know.
One of my swarm boxes, when I call my church bees, where I always catch my church bees, they'd already pulled the Q-tip out.
Oh, they pull it out of the bag?
Yeah. I don't have it in a bag. I just dump it into the bag.
They were trying to get rid of it.
They'll bring it out. It was on the ground.
Stinking up the place.
If it's clean, I'll refreshen it and dump it back in there if no bees are around. If they've got bees in it, I leave it alone.
See Fred asking there if I'm observing any feral bee tree colonies. I have to be honest, Fred, I have never found a bee tree. I don't know. I'm not going to say there's not any around here, but in all my messing around in the woods and playing with bees and seeing where they go, I've never been able to find a bee tree. How about you guys?
You see them all the time, but I don't hardly go in the woods no more.
Yeah, I don't go in the woods looking for them anymore either.
Yeah.
I've got about 700 acres of timber lays directly adjoins my main bee yard, and I know that I know of 4 different feral bee trees that's in that 700 acres. You know that I've seen in the last.
There's Mary Ann. She found an active bee tree past week in West Virginia. I'm just going to have to look
I know where
harder.
there's some old bee houses.
Yeah.
Abandoned houses that the bees have taken over.
Yeah, you can find them in those things.
Yep.
I know of 2 houses that's got bees in them right now, but I told them to leave them alone. One of them both of them behind the brick fascia, you know. I'm gonna have to tear the wall out, get to them because you can't get to them from the inside.
The dog's still out.
Okay. Behind the brick veneer. That's a chore I'm not going to tackle.
Yeah.
Clay said he's got a tree near him, but they die out every year. But do they always come back to the same tree, Clay?
Pretty much, mine. You'll find that was the case in most instances. They'll use the same places over and over.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, you swarm boxes. If you find a spot that catches swarms, just keep putting the box back in the same place.
Yep.
I guess my Ricolas worked for a little bit anyway, Joey.
Yeah, you seem to have quieted down there.
I got me a couple of Ricolas.
Where's Quack? Go get Quack.
Just reading the comments over here.
Yeah, I've watched some of the bee trees and bee buildings that I knew about over the years. And people say, them bees has been there for 10 years. I said, not really. I said it dies out every now and then. I see it when it dies out around September, October. You won't see a bee there till next spring.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of folks always ask about why we treat our bees, all the feral colonies, nobody treats them, and they do just fine. Which that probably is not exactly a true statement.
It's
May or may
true
not
in
be.
their mind.
Yeah. The feral colonies have as hard a time as all the rest of the bees.
Yeah.
A lot of them can't find the cavity big enough, and they just get in there and just keep swarming
Mm-hmm.
because it's crowded till it dies out too.
Yeah. So what's everybody got blooming in your area? We got a lot of differences going on. Around here we got the wild cherry just popped. It's not all the way out. It's just started. The red buds are starting to turn purple, but they hadn't totally popped yet. The maples, they're pretty much blooming.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the three things right now. Other than we got a lot of purple fields of dead nettle and henbit. Got that going on.
Yep.
I do think we get some off of some alder trees down along the creeks and streams. Kind of
Yeah.
got little noodles hanging on them.
Yep.
We get them a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get oak starting here soon.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it warms up a little bit more. That starts in April typically, runs through the end of May. And then you get your elm trees and everything else starting.
Yeah. Now, what else you get down your way, Joey?
We
Do you
got
get in
clover.
on the privet and
Yeah, the privet hadn't started yet. We got clover going pretty good. Blackberry, and I'm not sure which trees are actually going yet. I really hadn't looked at them that much. But I still can't find anything. The internet tells me what I call it the other day, JW. The generic name for it is false garlic. It's everywhere.
Yeah, you mentioned that a week or
Yeah.
so ago. We don't have that around here, I don't think.
That's that little ground cover though.
Yeah, I ain't seen a bee on none of it. They might do it some.
I've got a little dab of something. I don't think it's the same thing yours. Is that little bloom about the size of a small penny or about the size of a dime at the most, at the biggest?
The whole flower.
Yeah. Maybe.
Not like a dime.
Yeah.
Or smaller.
I've got some of that stuff here, but I don't know what to call it.
I don't think it does anything. It looks pretty though.
You don't see bees on it. I've got strong maple here now, Keith. My elm's blooming. Forsythia and my henbit in red nettle is starting to color the field, but it's not blooming. You understand what I'm saying? It's still buddy, kind of the bloody budding stages, I guess you'd call it. It hasn't turned pink yet. They're just starting to get some color to them. So this, there were forecast to be 17 for a low.
Wow. That's going to put a whipping on some blooms.
Two cold days, not being above freezing for 48 hours there. So we'll see. That's the reason I didn't go ahead and I put on my formic and added a couple pounds of fondant to everything it needed. I wanted to make sure everything had feed, but I haven't broken into any of my brood areas. I just didn't want to break the propolis seal or anything till we get through this. I was just ready to tell him you was in the background, Tom.
I didn't
Brad,
see
I'm
you
gonna see if I
down
can
there.
find a picture.
Good afternoon, y'all.
How you doing?
Tom.
Evening, I guess.
There's a question that Chris put up. If you have double deeps, do you wait until they're both pretty much filled back up after coming out of winter with bees before adding honey supers?
I would say in our area, I would probably suggest that bottom box probably is not full. If you were to get down in that bottom box, I bet there's probably bees walking in there. And if you split the boxes, you'll probably see bees on the tops of the frames. But I seriously doubt that bottom box is full.
Yeah, I
Especially
think
on the 10
mine's
frame.
pulled up in the top on my doubles. I don't think I got many bees in my bottom boxes, but I may be wrong when I get in them. I haven't been in them. I'm just guessing.
I think the best way to look at a cluster when it's chilly is from the bottom, not from the top. The top is always deceiving. It'll give you a false read. You have to split the box and look at the bottom. The bottom will give you more of an accurate read on that.
Yep.
I don't want to break them in half for this cold spell coming. I'm not going to after next week at least.
And Tom, I tend to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, you could do a box reversal. And I'm actually curious to know, I know it's kind of a quote unquote standard practice, if you will, but I'm just really curious how many people actually flip boxes. I actually don't usually.
I used to do it all the time, but
yeah,
I don't do it no more.
So my question would be this then. I'd be curious to know who else does and does not. And I don't know, and this is just my observation, and it could be wrong. I don't know that I've ever noticed a strong benefit. And maybe that I'm wrong there, but usually that queen moves back down. Once they start filling up the top, she moves back down. But
yeah, she'll go down. We flip, but when we flip, we're looking for queen cells. Because it's it's a whole lot easier to flip that box up and look for queen cells on the bottom, swarm cells on the bottom, than it is to pull a frame out.
Yeah.
So it's quicker.
Oh yeah, definitely is.
You talking about rotating?
Gives you a good read. I'm sorry, Joey.
You talking about rotating the boxes?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm talking about taking your bottom and top.
Oh,
reverse.
We don't rotate. I haven't rotated boxes in years.
Yeah.
Because she always comes down she'll come to her brood nest on her own.
See, that's the same observation that I've had. And I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying I'm not going to go out. So for somebody that has 5 hives, it will probably take you, if you're moving very efficiently, take you maybe 10 minutes to do it, right? If you have 200, that kills a day. And I just, again, as an observation, I don't know that I have seen the benefit in doing it versus the labor that it takes. So that's just my observation.
Keith, can you make that picture bigger? Brad was wanting to know what that looked like I was talking about. It's also called crow poison.
Crow poison?
What's the common name for that, Joey? Do you know?
I'm in picture this.
Maybe crow poison is the common name. I'm sorry.
It's called, let's see, it's also known, they called it crow poison here, but also known as false garlic.
Yep.
Crow's band, yellow false garlic, wild garlic.
Yeah, it's garlic family.
I wish it did make nectar.
Now, talking about rotating boxes, of course, I'll be the weirdo here. Now, I do run all mediums. You got to remember that. In my brood box is 3 mediums is what I normally run during the winter. On 100% of my hives this year, the bottom box was completely empty, nothing but comb. So I do rotate those boxes to the tops, and I guess that's really my first my first step of swarm control.
Mhm.
You know, instantly giving that queen a whole box. You know, that she can do whatever she wants to do with it. But
Yeah.
be on running all mediums like I do, that bottom box is usually, I'm not going to say always, but usually plumb empty. No
Mhm.
food, no nothing. Maybe a little bit of pollen left from last year, but basically definitely no brood. So
I mean, you know, maybe maybe that is a little bit more efficient. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm right. Just saying that it's just not a standard practice that I've done, I guess. So
you know, they're Glades. I think Glades saying the same thing, kind of. But it's definitely true what you say, Tom. I mean, I've got I'm doing that on 20, 23, 25 hives. You know, if I
Mhm.
had 200, would I do that? Probably not. You know, it's kind of like under supering. People ask you if you under super. Yeah,
Yeah.
I under super till I get tired of it, and then I quit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Keith, you're like the godfather of honey production in North Carolina, though. I
Yeah,
mean, you
really.
produce like 20,000 pounds off of 20 hives, and I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
the wizard needs to teach me his ways. Of course, I'm being a little sarcastic, but seriously, you've produced some really good honey.
Well, I mean, I get to, I don't know if baby's the right word, but, you know, having the number that I've got and being retired and in my shops. And I mean, I'm just I'm up there every day. So,
Yeah.
I see things, I notice things, you know, and I can do stuff. So, kind of a interesting situation in my bee yard, but it works out good.
Mhm.
So, I can't
Yeah.
complain. But yeah,
Right.
under supering, I think under supering works great. But when, you know, when it's 90 degrees and you're on your fifth t-shirt before lunch, it's not that great.
That's right. There's trade-offs, right, Keith?
There's trade-offs.
The how does that go? The juice has to be worth the squeeze.
There you
Yeah.
go. And sometimes the juice is running down your back. And you're out of
Hey,
t-shirts.
so if it's running down your back, it's sweat. If it's running up your back, it's not sweat, right?
Right.
You're fixing to get stung is what's going to happen. So here's another topic that could be an interesting one. So I talked to Kent Williams several different times every time he comes into St. Louis, and I kind of monopolize his time a little bit on different things. And one of the things him and I talked about was, can a colony, a strong colony, make more honey if you pull the excess honey off of them and keep giving them empty supers? Keith, what is your thought?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I never say never. I rarely, if ever, let my supers get full before I pull them.
Mm-hmm. And you've produced copious amounts of honey off of.
It seems to have worked well.
Yeah.
So what
And
did Ken think?
He actually said the same thing. He said, absolutely. He said he pulls them. And I'm like, hold on, how? So when you're working with time constraints, again, trade-offs to everything that we're doing here. Sometimes it's just a trade-off of time for what you're producing, or maybe you just don't have the time at all. And I don't remember how he said he does it, but they go through and pull supers off. And he said he actually puts them in a, his words, in a shipping container. And he must do something inside there to keep pests or something out. And I can't remember now what he said, but I thought to myself, I'm like, really? And my thought in my head was, I'm sure he has a method, and I can't recall exactly what he said. I'm like, that seems risky to me, because what happens in a week if potentially hive beetles are in there, or whatever pest is in there that starts to consume it or turns it to back to goo, or ferments it. So here's actually something that I actually learned. So I went through and I listened to, like, Bill, you should have gotten an email that would have enclosed, and Joey too, and you too, JW, from our EMBA workshop, the two presentations that Lewis Bartlett was supposed to be there to give. He recorded them special for us, and we emailed those out.
Yeah, I got it.
I had an opportunity recently to watch both of those, even though I've seen them before. And I learned a lot of new information. And one of the things that I learned, and I've seen it visibly, if you have an overabundance of hive beetles and they lay larvae in there, I didn't realize this. They said that, I wrote some notes down and my book's upstairs. I should grab it. He said something to the effect that there are natural yeasts on or carried by hive beetles that when they lay, or maybe it wasn't the hive beetles or the larvae that they lay, which is if you ever see a honey super get slimed out, it has something to do with the natural yeasts that are there, and the natural yeasts or an excess of that can cause honey to ferment because of a higher yeast count. And I should go up and grab my book because I wrote down a bunch of notes in it from listening to it, and I thought that was really interesting. I did not realize.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is Melissa treating you like a mushroom now?
Why is that?
Because you're in the dark, buddy.
I know. I just noticed that. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I tried to log on earlier, and there was my camera setting was off, and I don't know why.
You look like the mystery guest.
Yeah,
The
it is.
shadow.
It's
There you go.
There you go.
there. No,
No,
something's
we're
off.
back dark.
So my camera will adjust for lighting, and I don't know if I messed with a setting there or what.
Go to your
He's the shadow man tonight.
go to your visual effects under your settings,
Although Roy might have it there.
and you scroll down, and you got your different settings for your brightness and all that.
But yeah, I definitely think pulling the supers before they get full is a good plan. But I don't know how he gets by with storing them for a long period. I would be worried about that. Now, when I usually extract mine the same day I pull them, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh gosh, that's it." But that's why I've got 20 some hives, and at the most I've got 20 some supers that I'm extracting. Extracting 20 supers, I can pull the supers and be done extracting by around lunchtime, 1 o'clock. So I don't take many breaks, but that's not that terrible to do. And a lot of times I'll try to get the empties back on the same day, the wet supers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do that with these deeps. I don't pull supers. I pull frames at a time.
mm-hmm.
When I think I got enough out there to make a spin or two,
Yep.
I'll pull it and put it back. Because if we get caught with full supers, right when the privet is about to go out and the tallow's coming in,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have room, you're in trouble.
Yep. Yep. Now, what will say that does go wrong and you don't get it done? What happens? Will they just plug out the brood box and?
They will.
Okay.
So I try to keep some empty comb in there. I bring it in like you. I may bring it in today, spin it tomorrow, and put it back out as soon as I spin it out.
Okay.
And
yeah, I mean, working like that, pulling the supers before they're full, pulling a small number of supers. A lot of times I use, Lord, I lost my word. What's the board you stick in there to get the bees to come out of the supers? Escape boards.
Skateboard.
Yeah. I like using the skateboards. So when you pull the supers off to put the escape board on, that gives me a good chance to see where the honey frames are. So I usually move, if I've got 2 half supers full, I'll move all the full frames to that top box, put the empty down at the lower one. And so when I go to pull the supers, it's the top one. Makes it quicker. But it gives you a chance to pick and choose which frames you want to pull out of your supers. So, yeah, it seems to work good. The John there says stack them up. Now, that's what a lot of folks do.
Yeah. So I had a young lady come in the store today that was talking about this exact thing. She pulls frame by frame. She pulls frame by frame when they're 100% capped. And she puts them in the freezer and lets them sit till the end of the honey season. Then she extracts.
That's a lot of freezer space.
It is. That's a lot of freezer space. So she said she pulls a lot of honey. So
It's a little better, isn't it? The camera.
yeah, you got rid of that light out of the camera.
Yeah,
Your camera was shining right up at the light.
I think what it is, when Melissa's here, she brightens the room up.
You know what?
Yeah.
I should go get her. That's it. I should go get her. See, it's kind of gotten dark again a little bit.
Yeah. It's like when you move, it gets dark again.
Yeah.
Well, this computer, I just bought this computer here a couple weeks ago, because I got tired of sharing one with Melissa, so I went ahead and got a new laptop, and I was got some adjustments and stuff here. Just my normal fuzzy look now. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah,
Melissa.
What Russell says there's definitely true. Some of my supers be extracted 3 times per year. Yeah. You know, you stick your wets back on there, man, the bees will repair them quick.
I'm telling you, in the perfect, I used to tell people that I could pull some frames off, spin them out, excuse me, put them back on in 2 weeks, pull them again. My record is 8 days. I have spun them out, put them back on, and come back in 8 days. And they fully cap again.
Yeah.
No, I think
It's amazing.
Lee Quimby's got the right answer over there. I think that's what's wrong with that. Got a smart camera on it. But
It's a smart cam. Yeah. Must be some kind of smart. It's got like 8,000 settings on here. So I'm just playing with it in the background.
I think you're right, Lee.
What kind of camera you got, Tom?
Right.
I don't know, whatever's on an HP OmniBook X. I didn't even realize that on this laptop, actually. So there's the little hider that's on the top. Whenever I push it one direction,
Yeah.
it shuts me off. I didn't realize I was cleaning the screen earlier, didn't realize it was on there, and I guess I must have adjusted it, because when I came on the chat earlier, I seen it wasn't working, and I'm like, so I had to go in the settings, and I was messing with it for about 10 minutes, and then finally I figured out what it was after I did a little Google search.
Yeah, my laptop's got a little manual shutter over the camera.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I hit that somehow one time, and that drove me crazy trying to figure out what was wrong with the camera.
Well, Keith, it took me 10 minutes to figure it out.
Let's see. We got a couple of super chats here. Kevin, thanks for the $10. And Feathers up in Maine. Thank you, Feathers, for the $5. I really appreciate this. I can't remember. Somebody last week gave me a super chat and said use it to change the oil in the half track. Well, I did that this week. I changed the oil in Bertha. That was something I was going to talk about, and I forgot to write down on this. Are you ready? You know, the title of tonight's chat. One thing I do to get ready for bee season is try to get all my other chores out of the way. Oil changes, maintenance on equipment, vehicles, trimming trees, whatever. Anything I can do early, I try to get it out of the way. So when bee time comes, I ain't got to worry about nothing but the bees. Let's see. Clay wanted to know how much oil. It takes 12 quarts. The oil filter housing probably holds about 2 quarts.
Did you read 21st Bee's comment, Keith?
Oh, Lord. Multiple nights a week. I don't know. Ain't no vacancy. We got bee chats every night.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
We do.
Now, speaking of that, there's we're gonna cut this one off at 10 tonight because Todd and Brian have their Westward Bees chat at 10, and I don't want to overlap that. So we'll be closing down at 10. Then y'all can flip the channel and go over to see what's going on the West Coast. They're probably not having to worry about 20-degree temperatures. I don't know.
I'm sure of that.
Brian might. He's up in the hills. But Todd probably isn't. There's another question. If you have 5 hives and only 6 honey supers with drawn comb, do you use them on the strongest hives and let the others draw a new comb? Oh, Lord, flip a coin.
Yeah.
I would buy
I
more
would
supers, and I would checkerboard your comb and your foundations back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's 10 frame boxes, go with 9 frames.
Yep.
Stretch them out.
And the problem with putting the drawn comb on the strongest and let the others draw new comb, that means you're letting the weaker hives draw the new comb.
Yep.
Which probably ain't going to work real good.
I think the strong would draw it faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I've done that before where I've had some colonies that were like really good at drawing comb. And that's all I did was I kept feeding them frames, and I kept taking the other combs off and giving them to other colonies. So that colony didn't really produce me anything but comb. So, Bill, I have a trivia question for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay, get ready. So I took a bunch of notes today on my little book.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Get ready. I'm ready. Come on.
Get ready. Settle down, okay? Drink, get a cup of coffee, take a drink. Okay, so sounds like that most humans can handle about 3%, like if you're consuming, it'll probably turn your stomach a little bit, can handle about 3% hydrogen peroxide, okay? My question is this. And this was a study that was done by Lewis Bartlett. And if you actually listen to that presentation he put out, he had specific numbers in there. What percentage of hydrogen peroxide can bees handle without making them sick? It's a range. It's between 2% is kind of what I'm looking for. And this was his words, his research.
I want to say 5 to 7%.
I want to let a few people. Let's let it ride for like a minute or two. We'll let people answer in the chat.
Yeah, what do y'all think over in the chat?
I want to know what JW thinks.
2 to 3.
Need some Jeopardy music to play.
I know, right?
I wasn't listening. What was the question?
Okay, so humans and like cats and dogs can handle about 3% hydrogen peroxide. It'll probably turn your stomach a little bit, but you can. It's not completely poisonous to you at that percentage. What percentage of hydrogen peroxide can bees handle? Hey, go get the pup. He can sing better than you. So, Dodd, the video. So you should have been emailed I don't remember now. I'm just going to say a couple weeks ago, give or take.
Was
You
it a
should have been
VIA?
emailed
Was it a
2 links.
VIA email?
Yeah. Oh, no. This
No,
would have
it
come
was
from the EMBA.
email.
Correct.
Okay,
This
I'll
didn't
have
come
to
from.
look it up later.
Hey, Bill, how long ago do you think that was that it came?
About a week ago.
Okay. So there you go. About a week ago, this should have came. There should have been it should have been 2 links to YouTube videos. It was that are on the EMBA website. Most people can't access them unless you had the special link, whatever, because it's hidden from most view, unless people who bought tickets to come got those videos. So there was 2 videos. One was something like feeding sugar to honeybees, and the other one was beating small hive beetles. 2 different videos. So I'm going to give the answer. So as per Lewis Bartlett's research, we can handle about 3%. Honeybees can handle between 8 to 10, and he says as much as 10% without making them ill or sick, which I thought was pretty interesting.
But they also avoid it like the plague when they can.
So the one thing that he did say is they did a study also when they actually put certain percentages of hydrogen peroxide, like purposefully, in different syrups. He did say they preferred the ones without it. He did say that. He said they ate it, but they preferred the one without it. They would consume that much quicker and much faster. But so there's an enzyme that bees add to plant nectar, whatever you're feeding them, any type of sugar, high fructose, sucrose, whatever. It's called glucose oxidase. And that's what I believe, let's see here. Let me check my notes. Glucose oxidase, which is constantly producing hydrogen peroxide. So that's the, I don't want to say hygienic. That's not the word I'm looking for. That antimicrobial atmosphere.
Yeah.
He said back in the 60s, they used to call it inhibin. But then they changed the terminology, I think, in there after the 60s. There's some research that you've done. But like Dot, if you didn't get that link, let me know. We can send it over to you. But I would definitely watch those. He also stated that I thought was very interesting that them producing this glucose oxidase is actually extremely taxing on the bees. It requires, he said, immense amounts of energy for them to do that. He also suggested that when they are plant nectar and regular sucrose or table sugar, it looks the same in the colony. But when you are feeding them high fructose corn syrup, like 55, it's almost minimal. They don't. It's like there's a reaction, and he said that they don't know exactly what's going on there, but there's something that's inhibiting that that invertase enzyme.
Glade's got a comment there. Does that go along with what you're saying, Tom?
I think that's the answer.
Yes, that is exactly right. Yes, that's 100% right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is actually a byproduct, and some of the honey's got, or all honey's got some.
John's got a question
and if you
for
heat it
you.
up, it'll show up in your bottle sometimes. That's my
So, John, the only people who get those are the people who actually purchased attendees that purchased tickets. But I can send you the links to those. I'll have to get them from Melissa. She only lets me have so much stuff, guys. You know that, right?
I've got that on my block list on that EMBA stuff. I mind it won't come through.
That whole hydrogen peroxide in the honey is that's a conversation I always enjoy having with my honey customers. You know, as far as they've heard that honey can be used as a as a bandage or as a something to help heal wounds.
Mhm.
They really don't have a clue how it does that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you explain to them about the pH levels changing and the honey makes the peroxide, and it's a kind of a self-medicating bandage, you can usually sell a jar of honey after you tell them to tell. So,
I think if I remember right, I think honey is somewhere around, Bill, you might be able to correct me on this one because you probably know, 3.9%, I believe.
That's close. Yeah.
I think it was 3.9 if memory serves me right on that.
Yeah,
One other thing.
And if you're going to feed, they want it between 4 and 5.5 on the pH side as well.
Yeah. And they do that by, so honey that's been stabilized with low moisture, say 16, 17, 18%, he said that the low water contrast keeps yeast and bacteria from reproducing. So that's what makes it shelf stable.
Yep.
But bees don't prefer shelf stable honey. They prefer incoming nectar, but they know they can't have it, 12 months out of the year in most locations. But like Bill said, they have to introduce water or moisture back to that low moisture content stored honey in order to process that sugar in their gut too. So they rehydrate it. So the idea when people say in the wintertime, you have to keep all the moisture out of the colony, that's not true. It just can't drip on top of them or the cluster, but they have to be able to access moisture in the wintertime to rehydrate the honey. So
we're all good beekeepers here tonight. It's not a competition.
This is just good facts that I learned from what I consider to be a good researcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you do your research and you do a lot of reading, and like Tom does and I do, you learn a lot of things in that research.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's by accident.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
now, obviously, I've never done any of these studies. I can give you a general observation of what I see and what I might think, but this is all regurgitated information from people who I know and a lot of people that I trust, or researchers that I think are good in their field.
Todd, are you trying to stir the pot tonight?
I can tell you one thing for certain. He certainly doesn't trust me because he'll grab for Google every time I make him.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, Bill, you want to know why I don't trust him? Because he tells me all the time, he goes, I just lied to you. And here's the thing. That's one thing he's not lying about.
I don't know if anybody ever notices it or not, but if you're bottling honey and you warm it up, the more you warm it, the more hydrogen peroxide is going to show up in your bottles. You're going to get a little
more foam.
Yeah, that's what that is. And I'll let everybody Google that rabbit hole statement I just made. But the warmer your honey is, the more of it it'll come out in when you're bottling.
That's those white bubbles that are around the top.
Yeah.
But that's one good thing about keeping bees. You can all of these details you can research. There's so many interesting things you can learn about bees. But sometimes if you don't want to do that, you could just sit back and just be amazed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So Mark Zenner brings up a good observation or comment, says probably unrelated, but my bees are hitting the watering hole right now and rusty barrel of water. I'm telling you what, right now they have been hitting. I got my hot tub cover needs to be replaced. It's got a little gap in it now. And they've been getting into my hot tub, consuming the water out of there over the creek water and things like that. I'm telling you, it has to do with mineral content. I think the bees coming out of winter or in certain dearth periods of time, I think they're lacking in certain minerals and they can get it in these areas,
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and they know
No
where to
doubt.
get it.
Definitely. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, it's like you are drinking water out of a tub that my dirty body was in. That's disgusting, you know?
Yeah, but it's got
Dude.
chlorine in it.
I mean, I wouldn't drink after JW's bathtub water. I promise you that.
I don't
Yep.
take baths, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh,
Don't you treat your hot tub water with chlorine?
well, so we use a stuff called it's technically not chlorine. It's or traditional chlorine. I'll say that it's called blue something or other. I'm sure it has some sort of minerals in it. It has to.
Blue vitriol.
Say that again.
Blue vitriol is what the old timers called it, to where you put it in your same stuff in your ponds to clear them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a form of chlorine, I'm pretty sure, Tom.
Bromine, somebody says.
Yeah. I mean, if you got honeybees hitting your swimming pool,
Bromide.
like Haven has them in the pool all the time. They're after that chlorine and that other mineral that goes in there with the chlorine to keep it stable.
Yeah.
And they go after those two minerals because
They
they need it.
mineral. They like salt too. Bees do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a saltwater pool, they'll go get this, probably stronger than a chlorine.
Yeah. And
Pool.
the chlorine is acidic, and they want something that is acidic in the hive to keep the pH down. You know, they want to lower it from a normal pH of 7 to 7.5, which is normal. They want it down to 4 to 5 to 5.5 pH because they want something acidic.
Okay, Michael. Brave bees.
I agree, Michael.
Michael's helping you out there, Tom.
I agree with him, and I agreed with him 100%.
But yeah, I know my bees. Gosh, the hives. You know, I've got several springs across the property. Plus, we got the big creek, and where I'll see most of the bees after it rains is up on top of my shop in the gutters, getting the good flavored water out of the gutters. Got lots of algae and all kinds of goodies in it.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest that most of your spring water is probably basic, though. It's not acidic. It's just a guess on my part. I don't. And most spring water, you know, is more basic than it is acidic. I'm going to suggest.
So this stuff right here, this pristine blue, this is one of the things that gets added. It's several different things, but this actually is made up of. Hold on.
Go get your glasses. Your arm's not long enough.
I know, right? That's what I'm doing right now. Copper sulfate.
Can I hold it for you?
Hold it out here like this.
You know what? I've turned into my
dad. Is copper sulfate. That's what the old timers called it, blue vitriol.
Okay, copper sulfate.
That's what they
clean. This is one of them. We also use a stuff for hard water called pH down, which.
Yep, that's an acidic too.
Okay.
Anytime you lower the pH, you're making it acidic.
That's that old nasty water out there on the dirty side of the river. If you lived over on the clean side, you wouldn't have to do all that.
Is that right? So I'm coming by tomorrow. Can I bring a tank and get some of your water?
You certainly may.
Okay.
You certainly may.
Cool.
I'll save up water out my bee yard, or out the horse yard out there. Of that big tire that I fill with water, you know, where the horses drink. I'll fill that up for you.
All right. Is it clean water?
Sure. I wouldn't have anything else.
I figured
all
that.
water's clean, Tom.
Yeah.
With the stuff in it that's nasty sometimes, but you know, you may get a dead skunk or rotten blue jay or something like that, but that's good enough for you.
It's organic.
Organic.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
right.
organic.
As long as you say organic, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's clean as long as it's
Yeah.
organic, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so I have another bit of useless information for you guys if you're curious. So
Who won the prize on the other one?
Did
I
he
don't
say
know.
useless information?
Well, kind of. I mean, it's not practical knowledge, but it's, I don't know. I like to understand some of these nerdy little things, truthfully. So Lewis Bartlett also said that they can sample bees and tell if they were grown because of the food that was fed to the larvae, if they were reared on plant nectar, cane sugar, or high fructose corn syrup, through their isotope signatures. Which, don't ask me specifically what that means, but because I can't explain it. But I'll tell you, I thought that was a pretty interesting thing.
Well, you know what an isotope is, right?
If I'm being honest, I don't know what it is. I'd have to look up the definition.
Okay.
I can Google it though.
I'll let you look it up and figure it out.
That's some of that nuclear stuff.
Yep.
Isotopes are variants of elements with the same proton count but different neutron numbers, resulting in a distinct atomic mass.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, I'm still a little foggy if I'm being really honest.
You
Right now.
want it as close to zero as possible on your isotopes.
Yes.
We need isotopes for dummies.
Definition: same atomic protons.
Your
Okay, so it says same atomic number, protons, different mass number between neutrons and protons. Nearly identical behavior, but different physical properties, mass and radioactivity.
Well, I shouldn't have any problems then. I don't have any high fructose
Yeah, I don't feed it either.
in my area, I hope. I don't plan on having any.
If anybody does want to listen to some of the information that Lewis Bartlett has studied in that regard to that, you can go to Bob Benny's channel, and he has a presentation that is very similar. It's not the updated one, but very similar that he did, I want to say a year and a half ago. You'd have to search back on it, and it has something to do with feeding something or other. Bob, I don't know how many videos he's got, but you can search through there.
I don't watch too many of those, but I did watch that particular one on account of what they were talking about. And that was,
I guess Brent's got the bottom line question there.
So
what did we learn?
Well, I don't know that specifically it's practical knowledge as far as what you'd use as a beekeeper, but I probably, if a researcher, is probably relevant or information for you. Again, I was thrown out, again, like I said, a useless fact as far as that goes. But they can tell if they were grown off of that cane sugar, high fructose, or plant nectar, which I thought was interesting. I guess in some degree, I guess the bottom line is that's somehow ingrained into their, I don't know if DNA would be the proper way to describe that or not, but now Melissa's being sarcastic on that.
Yeah, Tom did learn what an isotope is, yes. And everything every living thing has an atomic mass.
And some of us have more mass than others.
True. That's true.
Okay, so Bill, another question for you. And I thought this was interesting. I wrote it down. This is on the Beating Small Hive Beetles presentation. Does anybody know when and where the small hive beetle arrived, the time, and also where it arrived at in the United States?
1936 at 12:03 a.m. on June the 31st of 1996.
You're wrong.
Can't be.
But you're actually not far off on the year date.
That's when they came here at my house. I wrote it down.
And now I'll throw one more thing out there too. Where did they come from specifically? That one might be easier.
Lower Slybovia.
Say again.
Lower Slybovia.
Slimovia.
Did you just have a little hiccup there?
Do you want me to
Same
answer the
place that
question?
Vibriosis of the bungalosis originated in. Lower Slybovia.
Bill,
bet they
fire
came from
away.
Asia.
Google that one up, old buddy.
They came into the U.S. in 1996 in Charleston, South Carolina, and they came from sub-Saharan Africa.
Yep.
I
So-
think he's worse than you about Googling, Tom. I believe Bill's got you beat.
Well, he must be Googling because according to
I did Google that, by the way.
Lewis Bartlett, he said they arrived in Florida in 98, and obviously they did come from Africa. But he also suggested that it's possible, or there were suggestions that they could have been in the Carolinas as early as 96. He did say that.
Yeah.
I wasn't beekeeping then, so I don't know.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah.
And
High school.
the other theory is they came over with their African honeybees.
Mm.
Yeah, could be.
You know, I will make one statement today. I went through 44 hives today, and I did not see one small hive beetle.
That's because I got them all.
Thank you, Jesus.
Did you put your glasses on?
Yeah. I'm telling you. I was specifically looking for some.
Hey, Bill, I got him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured you could, Dodd.
that's funny.
Keith, why is your name don't have a wrench by it?
Mm,
Huh?
I was
Whose?
wondering why Keith didn't have a wrench by his name.
Oh, I'm not an admin.
I don't know why you're not. You're running this thing.
Yeah,
Well, he's got
it's
his
the
I
same
have
with
to make
mine on my
myself an
channel,
admin?
Joey. I don't have a wrench either, so
No, I can't make myself an admin.
you should have
That's
been
because you're
one
the head
already.
cheese.
I can put people in timeout though, so I guess I'm already one.
Yeah, it just ain't showing up as. I
You're
never
not
know.
an admin, Bill.
huh?
You're not an admin.
No, I'm not even an admin on my channel.
He's got Charlie.
Charlie's the admin on my channel.
It's good to have lots of admins.
Okay, so David Hunter wants another one. I don't know that this is a good one, but this is interesting. So when you're talking about hive beetles and larvae,
All
From
right,
the hive
what's the
beetles.
most effective way to get rid of the hive beetle?
Torch. When you got a bunch of them.
the most effective way,
Yep.
well, I would just say proactive. Start with a strong colony, but that may not be fair depending on where you live at, north to south. I would also suggest full sun.
A strong colony can raise more hive beetles.
They can definitely raise more varroa, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right about
Hey,
that.
I'm going to suggest that you got an SAE wrench. It'd be about the same as your 10 millimeter. I'm thinking offhand like maybe a 3/8.
Oh, what's Melissa doing down here? Tom needs to be putting time out almost daily.
Off of the clay.
You know what, lady? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that one. Okay, so here's another little. So I'll ask it like this. This may be kind of a tough one to answer. When it comes to the larvae from the small hive beetles, What specifically about, whenever they start hatching inside those honey frames and start crawling through it, what causes the fermentation of the honey that's directly related to the hive beetle larva? It's
I
a
think I read
specific.
that today.
You answered that question about 15 minutes ago.
You're right, I did. I'll see if anybody was listening.
Probably not. I certainly wasn't.
You're going to get an F in class today.
I read that someplace, I think today myself too, and I can't remember what it was, if you want to know the truth.
So we either have some people that are really smart or they're Google searching it, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, you answered it about 15 minutes ago.
You're right. I absolutely did. I kind of jumped ahead of myself on my notes page.
So if they were listening, then they got the answer if they were listening.
Melissa, I'm not going to repeat the question. If you didn't listen the first time, then you miss out. Yeah, it was yeasts.
Yeah, the excess yeast that they create by moving through the comb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it causes the yeast will cause fermentation of honey.
Yeah.
So Bob Benny talks about this, and I thought it was interesting. He said he talks specifically about cabbage palm, which is a honey that's somewhere down south, probably out of Florida and areas like that. He had talked about one time how he had some cabbage palm honey in barrels that came up on a tractor trailer that was at 17%, but yet it was fermented. And he said the reason of that is because cabbage palm has a much higher yeast spore content than other nectars or honeys do. And I thought that was interesting. Not every honey has the same yeast counts in it.
I did find out what honey does if you leave it in your mixer for about 2 days. Lots of stir. I did find out what happens on that. I found
It's
that out
hard,
today.
doesn't it?
Huh?
It gets hard, doesn't it?
No, I've got foamy just got this white foam, just like I had to run it for like a little over 24 hours, about 36 hours. I forgot to turn my timer off on my KitchenAid.
Uh-oh.
And it kicked on and spun the honey for about 36 hours, and it was almost snow white and about like creamed honey gets. If you use a lighter honey, just almost snow white. Pretty.
Kind of like whipped cream, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's about what it was.
Hey, look at the comment that Melissa dropped in there, up about 5 or 6 comments. She's going to nail you on this one.
I seen her what she called it. No,
She said,
have whipped honey. Yeah.
You
It's well
introduced
whipped.
too much air into it. Remember how we were chatting before about creamed honey and making it, and you were poking fun at us, saying that in the mixer sometimes it spins too quickly and you'll put air into it? We hammered on that one, Bill.
I got some hot whipped honey, Melissa. I'm going to create a new market. Well, thank you, John. I'll tell my bees that they did a good job.
Well, folks, it's about time to shut down so folks can go over to, I believe it's on Brian's channel, the Westward Bees Chat. Y'all can hop over and support them. But I truly appreciate all y'all popping in tonight. Well, thanks, Joey. I appreciate that. And thanks, Tom, for bringing an intellectual side to the Bee Chat.
Hey, it was fun. I love those silly facts that don't mean a whole lot for practical beekeeping, but
But that's the stuff that that you can use at the honey market to sell honey.
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely, you can.
did you
Yeah.
know?
That's right.
And you don't have to give the same speech over and over and over and over.
That's true.
So, but I do appreciate y'all popping in the chat. I appreciate everybody over in the chat, and we'll try to do it again next week. There was Redfish. Hey, Redfish. Sorry you just got here. We fixing to leave. But with that,
9 on the dot. Redfish is a man. 9
Yeah.
on the dot.
but yeah, y'all hit that like button before you leave. I would appreciate it. Thanks for the super chats that I got tonight, and we will see y'all next Thursday. Y'all take care.
Good
Stay
night,
warm.
Everybody.
Make sure them bees have feed.
I'm going to go to Google.